Welcome back. It's Family Time 61, and this week we are talking about loneliness. This falls under social awareness and relationship skills in terms of our social emotional learning competencies, but it also has a heavy connection to self awareness. It's important to talk about loneliness because it's one of the most difficult things about being a person. We all experience loneliness at some times, and that's hard when we're surrounded by so many people. We live in a world filled with other human beings, and there are still moments we feel isolated and alone. We also know the deep and powerful impact loneliness can have not only on our mental health, but on our physical health. I know I've certainly experienced loneliness in my life many different times and for many different reasons. When I was younger, I think it probably had more to do with fitting in, trying to be popular, feeling like I had a place. And there were a lot of times I felt like I didn't. Sometimes that had to do with the fact that I was kind of the football player athlete in the art classroom. And then vice versa, I was kind of the artsy kid on the football team. And I didn't even really get hassled for that or that sort of thing. It was kind of in my own head, but it took me a long time to realize that it was a good thing to have a foot in each of those worlds, to have eclectic interests and backgrounds, but sometimes it felt like I didn't really have one specific place, that I didn't really fit in one area. I still feel that way sometimes. It can be hard if I want to work on a creative endeavor and maybe that's something that my other friends aren't doing, or there's a separation sometimes with the creative process. That took a while to really come to terms with. And feeling lonely, feeling isolated, definitely isn't just limited to youth. I think maybe the loneliest I ever felt was actually as an adult after I got divorced, which I'm sure happens to a lot of people go through something like that. But for me, a big part of it was moving into a different house and my kids then spending time between two different households. And that all went fine, it was okay, but I had to come to realization that it was the first time I had ever lived by myself. When I was a kid, I had two younger brothers, I had my parents around, I had a bunch of cousins, a big family always around me. In high school, always had friends and things like that around. In college, I lived with my buddies, was surrounded with people. I got married right after college, so I had never lived by myself. And those first few times that I came home to an empty house, I would honestly pull in to the driveway and I would keep myself busy through most of the day doing the regular things that I do, teaching and coaching, but I would pull into the driveway and I would sit in my vehicle for a while, not wanting to go in the house because I knew I was walking into an empty house, a quiet house. And there was loneliness that came with that. And it took some time and some processing for me to be comfortable with myself, to be comfortable with my own thoughts and my own feelings. And the toughest kind of loneliness is often when we aren't really even alone. It can be when we're in a crowded room and feel alone, feel different, feel isolated, or when we're in a relationship, be it a friendship, a romantic relationship, whatever it is, and we feel misunderstood. That can be the worst kind of loneliness because we see the people around us, and intellectually we know we have people in our lives, and we still feel different and alone. So we're going to talk about loneliness this week, and I'm asking people to share, asking my students to share, whether it's with me or in our classroom. We've had some really great classroom discussions with people opening up and sharing things, sharing whatever they're comfortable sharing. But when we share how we feel, especially when it comes to things like loneliness, we let other people know they aren't alone in the way they feel. We've talked about it before. No one can fully understand what we're going through because no one else has our exact experiences and our exact perspective. But we all go through struggles. We all have challenges. And I guarantee someone in your classroom, one of your friends, somebody with you right now, does feel lonely, is going through something. And if we can share a bit of our story, it can let them know they're not alone. And that might be the thing they need to hear. We're certainly not going to solve loneliness this week. We're just going to share and let other people know they're really not alone. So, I love and appreciate all of you. Let's have a great week. We'll see you next time.